What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're here for another Madden 23 rebuild, where we're going to go 5 years and try and turn things around. It needs to be said, we are going into week 5 of the NFL season. One of the most disappointing teams in the NFL thus far, and that is the Vegas Raiders. I mean, I say this as someone that I made it public throughout the years, and we did a Raiders franchise, and I talked about, like, as someone that, I like to look back at the history of the league. Like, one of the coolest franchises that's ever existed were, like, the Raiders. Like, the old Lyle Alzado, Bo Jackson, Marcus, like, all those different years back in the day. It always kind of made me have, like, a soft spot for the Raiders. And then when I started getting into Madden, the Raiders were in their joke phase, and they're always one of the funnest teams to, like, just play and try to rebuild before, like, we're recording and making realistic rebuilds and all that stuff. Just chilling. Rebuilding the Raiders was like almost like what I did every year. Trying to run it with Darren McFadden, and you'd have just countless guys with 97 speed, 98, 99 speed. It was fun. So the fact that the Raiders were supposed to be good this year and a very, very tough AFC, well, I was pulling for him. Like, I like Derek. Like, the year Derek Carr came out, like, that was right around when I started doing draft content. I was like, Derek Carr's my sleeper quarterback from that draft class, and I can't really pat myself on the back too much because he hasn't really done a whole lot. But I've liked Derek Carr. I like his skill set. Josh Jacobs is cool. Renfro is awesome. Getting Davante Adams is sick. Matt Collins, who was drafted as a special teamer in Philly, he had like 150 receiving yards a couple weeks ago, which is insane. I love that. Offensive line is probably one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, excluding Colton Miller, who's solid. You got Darren Waller, who's an awesome story. Like, who's not pulling for that guy? Then you flip on the defensive side of the ball, and much like you got Davante Adams on the offensive side of the ball, you went out and got Chandler Jones on the defensive side of the ball. This is a guy that just craps out double-digit sack seasons every single year. Pairing that with Max Crosby is pretty terrifying, if you ask me. And the rest of the defense, sprinkled with some solid talent. You got Morig here, 78 star dev. He's, into his second year. Rock Ya-Sin. You got Nate Hobbs, who's been a terrific value pick for a team that has drafted as bad as any team in the NFL over the last 5 years. Nate Hobbs was an absolute steal. But a lot needs to go into this team. Even right now, I look at this team, and I don't see a team that's going to contend, at least within the confines of a Madden franchise mode right now, for a Super Bowl, which is really the aspirations this team should have realistically this year. But I think we got to overhaul the offensive line a little bit. We got to go on the defensive side of the ball, help out that front three, establish that, get some of these guys to develop, maybe get younger inside the middle of our linebacking core. And, we got Josh McDaniels. Let's be honest. I thought that was a weird hire. Like, you got Josh McDaniels. I feel like that's a coaching hire that's past its expiration date. Like, you got Josh McDaniels win, like when the Patriots were still one of the most boring offenses in the NFL. I would have liked them to see maybe be a little bit, I don't know. I say this not having, like, off the top of my head, like, a clear, alternative to Josh McDaniels. I wasn't personally a big fan of that hire. Either way, we are going to try over the next 5 seasons to win a Super Bowl with the Vegas Raiders. Taking a bigger look at our roster. So the quarterback spot, Derek Carr got paid. This is a tough one, man. It's like, and I even talked about this yesterday or 2 days ago when we did our mock draft. I was like, all right, the Raiders currently they're the 3rd worst team in the NFL. They have the number 3 pick. They're the number 3 pick. They're giving up on Derek Carr. I don't think we have it in Madden, but in real life, there's an out for Derek Carr's contract this offseason. And I think if there's some level of they suck and he's not meshing with McDaniels, it just makes sense to move on from him. Maybe you still bring him back on a less number. And it's weird because you have Derek Carr, and clearly the appeal, you think, for Davante Adams picking the Raiders is at least, like, there's at least, like, 30% of that. 70% was probably the money, but, like, maybe 30, 20% in that range was like, I want to go play with Derek Carr, my quarterback from college. And then you could ruffle a couple feathers there if you do decide to move on from Derek Carr. But if it's not working, it's not working. And I'd rather try something different versus just having a super expensive, useless quarterback. Josh Jacobs is dope. He's going to have to get paid sooner or later, but I have no problem doing that. He's 24 years old. 84. You got Zamir White out of Georgia. I think he's a really interesting running back prospect as well. Davante Adams, Renfro. You throw in the fact, probably do need a long-term wide receiver 3. Get someone else on the outside here. You have Davante, who obviously can play everywhere, but he'll be an outside. We'll have Renfro in the slot. Getting another outside wide receiver is a priority. Darren Waller, for the time being, though, is a great third receiving threat on this team. On the offensive line, Colton Miller, happy with him. Everywhere else, though, is not great. I'm thinking Parham might have the best chance at like just developing into a starter for us. So maybe we can count off right guard as a spot that we need to try to draft at. But right tackle, left guard, center, got to replace those. That sucks, but we'll try our best here during these. I mean, I will say one thing about Madden 23's generated draft classes. I don't know, it could be a placebo effect, but I felt like in Madden 22, very difficult to draft good offensive linemen. And I feel like in Madden 23, there's at least a lot more hidden dev offensive linemen, I feel like, than in Madden 22, so that helps out for a rebuild like this, where we are going to want to, we're going to want to try to replenish the offensive line a little bit, which are never very fun draft picks, but draft picks that you need to make. Front three, it's kind of average. We're going to need to, Bilal Nichols 76 does have the star dev trait, so maybe we can build off of that, but I do think we need a left defensive end and a D tackle, a nose tackle upgrade. Linebacking core going to a 3-4, so with Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones hopefully doesn't regress too bad either. We have our pass rush. The inside, Perryman's very underrated. He's solid, but he's 29, 30, 5-year rebuild. He's not going to be here for the full 5. Same with Jayon Brown, 27, maybe. Got Diablo there, great linebacker. Maybe I'm going to probably try to get him on the field sooner than later. But again, I just don't know if we have our 2 middle linebackers for the full 5 years on the roster right now. Secondary, we got dev traits. Yasin Hobbs and Anthony Everett all star devs, so if they can keep that up, maybe corner will be a surprise. I mean, we won't have to draft or sign any big name free agents there, and we'll just be able to grow and develop the guys that we have. We have Harmon, who's veteran, but Morig, high upside, 78 star dev, only 23 years old. He out of pretty much anybody on the defense is like, he's for sure 100% going to be here in 5 years. Probably Max Crosby as well. And I would say Chandler Jones, but he's 32. Maybe he surprisingly retires or he regresses really, really badly. Don't know. Jonathan Abrams tank. Man, he's still here. It feels like that's been so long since we did that Raiders franchise. He's solid, though. He's fun. He's a fun Madden player. Carlson's one of the best kickers in the league. And you have a superstar punter. How Raiders is that? That's like paying homage to the old Raiders teams. When you used to rebuild the Raiders, like I was saying I used to do with Darren McFadden, you'd have all these fast guys. And then you just have Sebastian Janikowski and Shane Leckler be their best players every year. So kind of fitting that there's a little bit of a throwback there. But we got 5 years with the Raiders. A lot of work needs to get into this roster. I think getting them to where they need to be. But I feel pretty confident we can do it. The only thing that I'm not sure about is whether or not Derek Carr is going to be our guy. But I'm going to give him an honest chance to prove that he is. As far as our season goal is concerned, I don't think we can go anything less than making the playoffs here in year 1. We are 1-2, which is a little disappointing, but also a little, in line with how the Raiders actually started. Jonathan Abram, our normal dev safety, popped a potential dev trait scenario here against the Denver Broncos. Now, this was a game that the Raiders need to win. We simply need to win. Divisional victory. And it's a low-scoring game, which actually might play into the hand of least silver lining of Jonathan Abram, and he does not. I was going to talk about contract extension, but first, we have a very winnable game here against the Houston Texans. We're 1-4, which is unbelievably disappointing, but at least somewhat realistic of the struggles. But somehow Derek Carr on star dev gets a potential superstar dev scenario. Throw 1 or few interceptions and 350 scrimmage yards or 4 total touchdowns. So maybe that would answer the question about who is our quarterback. If Derek Carr here against the Houston Texans can find a way to go up dev trait, and then obviously he would have to play well enough this season to not lose that dev trait in the offseason, which is another story. But if he can hit that, that'd be pretty cool. We put up 42 points. There's a chance here. I don't think that's the question you want. God damn it, man. Come on, Derek Carr. Stop sucking. I got $59 million as it relates to contract extensions. Who is going to get a bag or two? First up, Anthony Everett, if he holds his star dev, he's in, the interest is there. I'm going to wait until the final window before he hits free agency. Just see if he keeps that star dev somehow this season. I'll bring him back. I'll bring him back on a 2-year deal. Jayon Brown has actually been playing fairly well. And just so we don't have to, a 2-year deal is not brutal. Gives us, wants more money? Come on, man. I just want you for 2 years so I don't have to worry about drafting another starter. Jonathan Abram at safety. He's already had the breakout scenario. I feel like that's not going to be the last time it happens. So I'm confident we'll be able to get him up off that normal dev before too long. Rakyasin at corner. Would love for him to come here for 3 years. Has that start dev. I don't think he'll lose it. Josh Jacobs, that's an interesting one. I think in real life, the Raiders are probably going to move on from him. I think also on his day, he's a top 10 running back in the NFL, like firmly. It's not like you're stretching for Josh Jacobs to make that top 10 list. He's closer to 6, 7 territory than he is like, oh, is he 9, 10, 11, 12? Is he just on the outside looking in? I think he's legit. So I'm going to try to get Jayon Brown on this 2-year deal, offer him a little bit more money. We're going to wait and see if Everett can hold on that dev trait. But either way, we're going to have a decent chunk of money going into 2023's free agent period, so might be able to sign a big name on either side of the ball. We need help wherever we can get it. Team is awful. We are not winning games, but we are at least getting dev trait scenarios here in year one. This is for Moreg, who's looking to go from star up to a superstar. We can put up a good performance here against the Colts. This team's so bad. So bad. 2-7. We have Davante Adams. And no one's getting dev traits. Then year one, a complete and utter failure. I was thinking like 12-5 with the roster that we had. We go 5-12. We did have a top 5 passing offense. Rest of the team was, I mean, offense, even the rushing yards, that's not bad if that's all just Josh Jacobs. Offensively was fine. Defensively, terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'm going to look here at the stats, how we can recoup. Derek Carr, 3rd in passing yards. 31 touchdowns, 12 picks is, you know, average. I want to say like barely slightly above average. But overall, I mean, I can't look at these stat lines and be like, yeah, well, that's the reason why right there we didn't win. You can win with that. Josh Jacobs, 1,300 yards, 20 touchdowns. Happy with that. 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns. Davante Adams, hopefully he won't lose his X factor. Renfro, 1,300 yards is also pretty good. Almost 1,000 yards for Waller, 10 tutties. They all ate. All respectable numbers for our big weapons on the offensive side of the ball, which is nice. Defensively, Moreg led the team. 144 tackles, 6 TFLs, 3 picks. However, 100 tackles for Jayon Brown and Jonathan Abram. 20 TFLs, 9 sacks, Max Crosby. 96. I mean, that's an acceptable stat line. Bilal Nichols, 18 TFLs, 6.5 sacks. Chandler Jones on the other end, though. That is not good. That is not good enough for an X-Factor pass rusher. I don't know how we get him more involved. He is our sub-pass rusher. He's our starting outside linebacker. He was clearly on the field a whole lot, just didn't get after the quarterback. Moreg led the team, 3 picks. 3 picks. Rocky is in as well. Nate Hobbs, 2 picks. Tom Brady is the MVP. Take a look at the AFC Odds player. Goes to Derrick Henry. Josh Jacobs, runner-up. Shout out to him. Defense player goes to Von Miller. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Breece Hall. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Devin Lloyd. And then just quickly looking through the awards for any Raiders, we had nobody. So it's 5-11 too. It's like one of those things like we suck, but I don't even think we sucked bad enough to get a really good pick. You know, we're probably going to pick like 8th. 2nd. What? Okay. I'll take that. Let's get a blue chip player, hopefully. And year one closes with a very Patriot-themed Super Bowl, 49-38. The Patriots make the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's Super Bowl MVP, as well as the NFL MVP. Gross. Yuck. Yuck. When will he just go away? They look at our... I'd rather that than the Cowboys, though. Take a look at our roster. As it relates to dev traits on the offensive side of the ball, no one lost a dev trait, and Josh Jacobs went from star up to a superstar. So that is very good. On the defensive side, I think honestly all reasonable dev traits. Chandler Jones regressed down from X Factor. Did not earn that X Factor. He was very disappointing. Jonathan Abram goes up to a star dev. Teron Moreg goes up to a superstar dev. So all things considered, very happy for what was a disappointing season to have the number 2 overall pick, and our team was not absolutely crushed with regression. Free agency kind of sucks. I mean, like, we could use a 3rd corner. We let Everett hit the open market. I just didn't want to really pay. There's guys there, but it's not a crazy upgrade. And there does seem to be some pretty good corners in the draft. Guys that can slide in a middle linebacker. It's just like old guys. You know what I'm saying? Like dudes, like, you know, it didn't work out well. And then you look at like 3-4 front guys. Who do we got? Okay, Akeem Hicks, too old. Deron Payne, I mean, he's too. I think we've signed him in like 3 rebuilds right now. I want to do something a little bit different. And then the other guys that do have dev traits, like they're rightly at their ceiling as far as development. And it's like, all right, what do we got an offensive line here? We could go tackle, guards, both guards, maybe in a center. And it's still like, all right, the top guy has zero interest in coming here. We'd have to pay ridiculous money. Nate Davis would be awesome. Zero interest in coming here. So I honestly think at this point, given our team's salary cap situation, just carry and roll this money over into next year, honestly. There's nothing here that's that big of an upgrade for our team. Well, let's start the draft with the number 2 overall pick. I would rank our positions of need. Let's just see. Let's get through pick 1. Tyler. All right, he was one of the guys we were considering. I'd say top position need would be anywhere on our front 3. Also helps a corner, I would say, is maybe our second need. This guy actually looks pretty ridiculous. Marquise Johnson. But I would say D-tackle, because, I mean, anywhere on the front 3, right? So that means get a guy like right now, the top player, all Bs, which he also looks very good. Titus Sheffield. The combine is exactly what you want to see for the most part out of a D-tackle. I feel like front 3, because this guy could be a D-tackle for us at 313, a little bit undersized for a nose tackle, or he could be a starting defensive end. And our defense is what was struggling. So it's really 2 options here. We just have a little bit more knowledge. This guy's only 50%. I mean, he's probably going to be very good. Johnson. I'm going to say like the A. Oh, he looks good too. I think the more value for us, because we still have, you know, Hobbs and Rocky Sin. Those are going to be our top 2 corners. So really we're drafting for like our 3rd corner, which is valuable. But I don't think you go 2nd overall pick on your 3rd corner, or a guy that like can bump someone to a 3rd corner. I'm going to go Sheffield with our first pick. Anytime you see Bs across the board, I'm going to say there's a chance there's no dev trait. The high bench press, though, the 40-plus reps on the bench press usually is indicative. Like, if you have a guy that's top 3 in these stats, that he will pop with a dev. So we're going to start off with Titus Sheffield on the defensive line. Hidden dev, 96 strength. Hopefully that rating's like, mid-70s. To be honest, the corners, as I kind of I'm literally just manually skipping to be like, there was 3 corners that were really good, and I think we're going to be down to the one that has the better stats and not the combine. Unfortunately, let's take a look here. I wanted to grab, again, if we really wanted a can't-miss corner, we probably would have grabbed the top guy that was there. Right now, we're down to the guy with the best stats. 6 feet. I mean, other needs, offensive line, guard, center, but there's nothing there in the 2nd round right now for guard, center. We have our front 3. I will say right now, my diamond that I'm going to get, I guarantee we have one of the best late round players I've seen. It's that middle linebacker, a spot that I definitely want to try to prioritize, especially with Perriman getting old. Look at this guy. Jerome Daly. B pursuit, B tackle, A zone coverage, and the combine. This guy draft, I might even reach for this guy in the 3rd round to make sure that we get him. But we'll grab a corner. I think this guy here is probably going to be like a normal dev, because the combine's not crazy, even though the 3 cone and the 20 yards, the 40's a little bit on the light end. But I definitely think we're going to be getting a player that's probably high 70s with that skill set. And he actually pops with a dev trait. And not as slow as, 94 acceleration, 91 speed, not bad. But we're able to get 2 big-time upgrades on the defense side of the ball. I want to get that linebacker, and I want to prioritize offensive line next to finish up this draft. As it relates to the offensive line here in the 3rd round, I think we could probably wait on that linebacker. Because there's a lot of players still available ahead of him at middle linebacker. We will trade up, though, if these guys start going on a run here in the 3rd round. I want center. I want guard. Top center. I'm scared with the D run block here on Pendleton. I think he's probably a decent player, but the D run block kind of scares me off a little bit. But looking here at left guard, for a player that we have a decent amount of information on, 2 A's and a B. Does have the D run block, but the 2 A's and the B looks pretty good here for Aldridge. The combine, got the bench press that you're looking for. So we're going to pull the trigger here, and he pops hidden dev 3 straight. Gary Aldridge. All right, this is really the last pick that I have some level of confidence to kind of show off here. We're going to be able to get the middle linebacker here in Daly. Can we make it 4 picks? 4. I would say that now. Even this guy doesn't have a hidden dev trait. He's going to be ridiculous. He's going to be probably an upgrade over Diablo, challenge for starting reps right away. Jerome Daly. Oh, there's no dev, but I think he's going to be an outstanding player. Let's go draft. I think this is going to be one of our better drafts, just from like a rating standpoint. I got some guys I think they're going to be in the 70s, and they are. Our first 4 picks that we felt good about. We got Titus Sheffield at 2 over. I mean, it's also not super common that we do have this high of a draft pick. So I'm excited that we can get some blue chip players every now and again. It's not always like we have to find and, super hyper analyze the draft class to find like the studs that are there in like the high teens, 20s. Sheffield, 75, that's probably about the minimum you'd want to see for a base rating on the number 2 overall pick. Anything less would be a little disappointing. He looks solid. Great athlete, powerhouse. We got to figure out what his best position is going to be for us. So do we want to keep him in D tackle? Do we want to move him to defensive end? Haynes, who I just drafted, honestly expecting, a 74, 75 type rating. No dev. Pops with a dev. Great athlete, 77 zone coverage. Now we are a man defense, so it's not the best scheme fit for our team, but we'll be able to make it work. He has the length that we're looking for on the outside. Gary Aldridge, pop with a hidden dev as well, 74 guard. He's going to be day 1 plug and play at that left guard spot. Sorry, Mr. Simpson. And Jerome Daly was the linebacker, freak linebacker, 73. No dev trait, but I will take a 73 overall player every day of the week in the 4th round. We got a 60. Honestly, the rest of these guys are all UDFAs, and I just kind of like, Jay Kelly all had like Bs for all of his main stats. That's a solid backup quarterback. Decent athlete, 92 throw power. I don't think we're going to say there's going to be a controversy brewing, but he could be solid. We got a 72 fullback because we do actually have fullback in our scheme. This guy had A pass blocking, so I was like, sure, why not? And then we finished out depth at the tight end spot. But those first 4 picks, if Daly would have popped with a dev trait, that might be arguably one of our strongest drafts to date in these Madden 23 rebuilds. And before we get into year 2, I really missed out. Like, the only one thing I couldn't grab outside of a center, I would have loved to be able to draft a center, was another wide receiver, because we have Davante Adams, we have Hunter Renfrow, we need someone else on the outside, and like our rest of our wide receivers right now are just like practice squad guys. So KJ Hamler from the Broncos, trading within the division sometimes can get spicy, but Hamler is a burner and absolutely what I would look for on the outside. So we're able to send them Diablo, who's still a very nice linebacker prospect, but with the draft pick of Daly, Diablo is going to be relegated to linebacker 3. He's not going to see the field. So we package that with a 3rd round pick, and we're able to bring in KJ Hamler, who's going to be technically our wide receiver 2 with Renfrow in the slot there. All right, year 2 for the Vegas Raiders, and I will just say my insurance plan is we're going to heavily scout the quarterbacks this year, just in case, actually, we can fix the West End, whatever. In case things don't work out with Derek Carr, I want to be able to at least have a little bit more knowledge as it relates to the quarterbacks. But our draft class, at least one of our players from our draft class here going to year 2, is going to be exceptional on the defensive side of the ball. As it relates to the offense, just making the trade for KJ Hamler at wide receiver. High expectations there. Aldridge at left guard gets the start with a hidden dev. Everything else is the same unit from last year. Defensively, Haynes looks like an absolute baller. We're going to keep Sheffield here at defensive tackle. And Daly's going to get an opportunity to start alongside Jayon Brown in the middle linebacker. And honestly, for the defense, I just want to see Chandler Jones play well. 3.5 sacks for a guy that even at his age and his regression, he needs to be getting double-digit sacks. And I think that was a big disappointment from year 1. Let's see if he can step it up here in year 2, where, again, nothing short of making the playoffs with a roster of this quality can be considered a successful season. So let's do it. All right, it's a weird year. It's just really, okay, we got a breakout for Nate Hobbs. We've had probably 10 breakout scenarios through a season and a half, give or take. Yet to hit one. We're 4-7, last place in the division, but we just beat, at that time, the 9-0 Broncos with Derek Carr getting offensive. Like, I have no idea what's going wrong with this team, to be honest with you. But let's sim this week, see if Nate Hobbs can get his dev trait. We'll talk about some extensions. And I don't know, maybe this team just kind of rectifies itself. We got 2 straight wins, 2 straight weekly award winners. Nate Hobbs, unfortunately, we cannot hit dev traits to save our freaking life, which is very, very frustrating. But another weekly performance, who's that go to? Back-to-back weeks, Derek Carr's 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks. So maybe, is that like reassuring? Being like, you know what, at least it's not Carr? Because like he's like an obvious answer, but that also makes it harder to figure out what's wrong. We do have some dev traits unveiled. Aldridge is star dev For those of you that did see while we were doing our little training, Haynes, our second-round pick corner, had X Factor, and Sheffield's a superstar. 3 hidden devs, 1 X Factor, 1 superstar, and a star on the O-line. That's going to go down as one of our best draft class yet. So over our contracts, we'll go, I mean, we didn't just trade for KJ Hamler to let him walk. 3-year, $15 million deal is very reasonable for a guy that I still think has some upside. Bilal Nichols on our front 3, I think also, as long as he doesn't lose that dev trade, kind of solid. So we'll offer him a 3-year deal. If he takes it, good. If not, hey, we'll let him hit open market, and maybe we can get an upgrade there. All right. I think I know. Okay, disappointing year. Last again, I'll tell you right now. Here's what we're doing. And I'm going to do it now so that I can kind of build our off. We're getting out of this 3-4. 3-4, garbage. Generally garbage. It's few and far between when it actually works. So we're just going to go 4-3. For simplicity's sake for me, I'll go Eagles defense just because I kind of know what we need there. Yeah, man. Just fucking, man. 3-4 defense. Why is it so, like, sometimes it's good. Few and far between, but sometimes, like, I feel like when we were the Chargers, it was pretty good. It's just, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe it's just how I build my teams. I don't know. But, disappointing year. And we saw a couple times, man, I don't think it's because Derek Carr, top 5 quarterback. I think, honestly, top 5 in passing yards, 38 touchdowns, 8 picks. He ain't the problem. Running the ball, Josh Jacobs getting his. Receiving, our guys are going off. We almost had 4,000-yard receivers. I love seeing KJ Hamler, who we traded for, have an outstanding year and justify the contract extension. Defensively, it just hasn't been popping. Daly was outstanding. Our 4th-round draft pick led the team with 140 tackles, 6 TFLs, 2 sacks, 2 picks. Would love for him to play himself into Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation, so then we end up with 4 hidden dev, or at least dev trait rookies from that first draft class. 13 sacks, Max Crosby. Chandler Jones, a little bit better. Sheffield, the superstar defensive tackle. 12 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. Very happy with that. Interceptions definitely could be better with the talent that we have in the secondary. It's not an S tier secondary, but it's like a strong B secondary. Now, Kyle Mann, if we did decide to move on from Carr, he was the top quarterback in last year's draft class, and he wins MVP for the Commanders. Josh Allen comes number 5 for the MVP race, just furthering the answer that he's not our problem. Honestly, he's been very good. Defensive Player of the Year there. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Reed Byrne. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jerome Daly. That's going to be exciting to see. It always would have actually been better if Sheffield won it, because then you'd get the potential X Factor upgrade. But I'll take Daly if we can get him off that normal and up to a star dev. So the draft was outstanding. We found out Derek Carr is not the answer, and hopefully this switch to a 4-3 defense will help this team out going into year 3, because so far through 2 years, hasn't been good enough. Year 2 recap, at least the divisional rival didn't win the Super Bowl as the Falcons defeat the Bucs 38-17. Drake London. Man, we rebuilt the Falcons yet? Well, to be honest, I mean, I always kind of go with what you guys are suggesting, but I think Falcons could be a fun rebuild to get after, because I know at least they're good. Take a look at our squad as it relates to dev traits. On the offensive side of the ball, no dev trait regression, and Derek Carr's up to a superstar. That is actually kind of awesome. Even though he's regressing from a rating standpoint, his dev trait is where it needs to be. On the defensive side, well, we made that switch, so here's kind of how the 4-3 is going to look. Crosby, Sheffield, Butler, and Chandler Jones. Probably could use another defensive tackle there. Daly Brown, who Daly did get that dev trait for getting Defensive Rookie of the Year. We need another outside linebacker for sure. No regression as far as I can tell as it relates to dev traits, which is great. Very lucky with Chandler Jones, especially with his age. Honestly, I thought Chandler Jones and Darren Waller would regress, but very happy with where they're at. So as we go into the offseason, definitely thinking right tackle on the offensive side of the ball should be a priority. Maybe BPA on the interior offensive line, just see if we can get a guy with the dev trait. But right tackle, and then as it relates to the defense, outside linebacker and another D tackle. So at least we have like clear defined upgrades that we need to try to get. So as it relates to free agency, a lot of upgrades to positions we want to get better at. Lindstrom, we might lose out onto the Giants. We're going to try. Jedrick Wills at left tackle. We'll just kick him to right tackle. We got Matt Hennessy at center and Javon Kinlaw at D tackle. If we can land all these guys, that really means... let's see if we can get the guard. Oh. All right, we got Lindstrom, Hennessy, and Kinlaw. If we can get Willis over the line, which we can, we are going into this offseason really just needing an outside linebacker, and then our roster's pretty elite from top to bottom, I think. All right, hear me out. Well, Derek Carr is not the issue. However, we really hit home on all of our kind of needs, if you will, in free agency. So I was like, we need linebacker. There is no linebacker worthy of the 11th pick right now. Like, McGee doesn't look anything great. Ward's, might still be there in the second round if we want to, like, because he has that A-zone coverage. Like, Shaquille Madden is probably the only guy I'm considering. But the combine sucks. The combine, so my point being is that Derek Carr is like a 78 overall. And while he's playing well, he's only going to get worse. So I feel like we could still likely get our linebacker while also in a draft class that is absolutely stacked at quarterback. What is this? Stanley Howtailing? I didn't even look at this guy. That's an outrageous name. So looking at these quarterbacks, they all look like Bryce Tucker looks solid, first round talent, even though he's a top 5. Robert Seymour I don't want to say anything, but isn't Alcorn State HBCU? Isn't Jackson State HBCU? Weird quarterback choices for there. But they just have great throw power. I'm looking here at Darren Russell. Do we go with another quarterback named Russell? A deep accuracy, A short accuracy, A throw under pressure, 6'4", with elite throw power, elite strength, elite acceleration. Pretty good combine. Or we have Rich McLaughlin from Vandy. Very similar skill set. A deep, B medium, A short, A under pressure. Has elite throw power, elite strength. Not as good of a combine. So we either get a Russell or we get another Rich. Jamarcus Russell, Rich Gannon. I wish I knew which one of these two, which one of these two had the tell of, I feel like they're not going to be exactly the same type prospect. Okay, let's go. Let's use the speed as a deciding factor. I think Russell's going to have better than decent speed. Let's go Russell, man. Give me hidden depth. Fuck! All right, the linebackers kind of fell off a cliff here. I am skeptical about the D zone, but this is the best that we got left. Combine is also not the best, but he's Jack Black's alter ego, Zach Black, and he pops with a hidden dev. You know what? Just sitting here thinking about it. Normal dev for our backup quarterback, our successor potentially. It's not the worst thing because he's not going to play. He'd likely lose the dev trade anyways. And 75 is a great starting point. He's not going to be that too far off of Derek Carr's base rating. And the stats look really good for Darren Russell. It still would have been nice to know, if he was an X factor or a superstar, that he could regress down a little bit. Jack Black, 73 hidden dev middle linebacker. Good fit for us. Rest of the draft, not really that hot. I got to look at some of these other quarterbacks, though. At least the ones that we had to, decide on. We had Seymour for Jackson State. He's 70s. What? 70s. Just give me star. Give me star so I can live with this. Oop, sorry. All right, superstar, brutal. He wasn't really on the short list, but just knowing that we took the normal dev quarterback. Bryce Tucker was another QB on board. Please just be star. Don't tell me I was missing on multiple. Okay, at least he's a star. But again, he wasn't also really in consideration for that quarterback pick. It was Rich McLaughlin, who also pops with a set. We would have got either of the normal dev quarterbacks. I can live with that. But, and it makes sense, all right? It's not the worst thing, because we're not going to pull the plug on Derek Carr right now. This is just our backup plan, and 75 is a terrific starting point for a backup quarterback. Year 3 for the Raiders. I'm expecting big things this year. I'm expecting the change to a 4-3. The fact that our offensive line, with the addition of pretty much just poaching the Atlanta Falcons, who won the Super Bowl's interior, and Jedrick Willis, this line is outstanding. Derek Carr is a superstar. Maybe a little bit of pressure on Derek Carr now, with the first-round draft pick sitting behind him. Take a look at the defense now in that 4-3. Adding Javon Kinlaw should definitely help. We'll make Zach Black left outside linebacker, sure. Moring Abraham, Hobbs, Yasin, the X Factor, Hayes. We'll actually bump him up the depth. Let's put him on the outside here a little bit. Absolutely. This year, if we don't make the playoffs with this team here in year 3, I think we might have to just toss out the fact that the Raiders are cursed. I just hit sim to mid 1-6. Where is the cancer on this fucking team that I'm just how's How's my defense an 83? Like, first of all, like, our defense isn't, you know, S tier by any means, but like, how are we that low? Look at this. You kidding me? What are we doing here? How are we like 1-6? I'm about like, we're only year 3. I'm about to just throw my hands up and say this team's just cursed. All right, we have 28 million bucks, so we're not gonna just be able to re-sign everybody. I think we have prioritized Morig up first. Give him that 3-year, $27 million deal, superstar safety. We got Renfro. I feel like Renfro, you know, he's been great for this team. We'll get him back. Nate Hobbs is the only guy that doesn't have any interest. We don't really have the money. Helps that we were able to draft an X Factor. I don't know if he'll be able to hold on to that X Factor after this you know, likely a shit season. I don't know. Like, our cap sucks because we went all in a very opportunistic free agency class to get better at all of our weaknesses. Is 1-7? Like, yeah, we're 1-7 with only $8 million in cap because this team should be 7-1. Year 3 complete shit show. Niners beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl cream hunt. Cream hunt goes to the Niners a lot in Madden 23 franchise mode, I have noticed. But I mean, just like easily the worst season we've had so far. Derek Carr gets a lot of passing. I mean, again, it's like he's not the problem, but I almost feel like, what are we doing? Like, are we just? I don't know. I'm stumped. I'm genuinely stumped. I mean, like literally, okay. Quarterback is playing low tier good enough to definitely make the playoffs. Running back Josh Jacobs, he's been consistent, getting us decent production. 4,000-yard receivers. What more could you ask for? Defensively, you know, hell, even just to the offensive line, even if it doesn't play well in the sim, the amount of investment getting Lindstrom, star dev, he's 90, Hennessy, star dev center, Willis. Like, our O-line is on paper one of the best offensive lines in at least the AFC. Linebackers, we got guys just, you know, tackle machines, sacks. You know, we don't have a S tier, but look at that, going to a 4-3, definitely getting better sack production. So, like, justifies the move. I guess the secondary's not getting turnovers, but we have talent in the secondary. X Factor and Haynes might be actually down to a superstar. Oh, he didn't lose his dev, surprisingly enough. Yearly awards here. Dak is your MVP. Just burning through quickly, see if there's any Raiders. There's not, because we were garbage this year. I generally don't have an answer right now. I don't, like, do we change, like, it'd be like, all right, well, we change the defense off. We get better sacks with the defense. Do we look at, we don't need to change the offense up. We're having 4,000-yard receivers. We're maximizing all of our top players. As far as dev traits are concerned, not one dev trait regression on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, Chandler Jones got hit. He went from superstar down to normal. Jaylen Brown down to a normal. His contract's up. I mean, there's no... You know, Max Crosby lost to superstar, which kind of stings, I guess. Zach Black was our only hidden dev pick from the last draft. He comes out as a star. But, like, generally speaking, no answer. I mean, I guess at this point, year 3, you guys can let me know in the comment section. But what would you do differently at this point? Maybe I can look back through the comments and give me a different idea. Because, you know, we do 2 rebuilds per team. So if the Raiders are cursed... Maybe I can take some feedback that you guys had if you've already, you know, rebuilt the Raiders and you might have different success than what I have had. Let me know what you did differently, please. I guess Derek Carr's been playing well. Should we move on from Derek Carr? I think when you look at the fact that we could save $41 million in salary cap and just have a 4-point regression to QB, but then it's like, are we going to be able to spend that $41 million on free agents? And expect that, I mean, even with our cap, even with $41 million for Derek Carr, like Nate Hobbs, the corner that no interest in coming back. There's like nothing there at corner. We could use a pass rusher. Chandler Jones is gone. And I think I'm going to grab Jalen Phillips here just as, you know, an emergency plan, potentially. Because other than that, there's like nothing there really for... You got Azeez Ojulari, no interest. Hendrickson, but he's 30. So, like, you know, in 2 years' time, who's going to be further ahead? Hendrickson, or if we commit now with Jalen Phillips? The answer is Jalen Phillips. I just don't know. I'm so confused. We got Jalen Phillips. Hopefully we can have another draft where we pull a superstar at an X Factor, I guess. All right, we got the 7th pick in the 2025 draft. We need a linebacker. That's what we need. We need one linebacker. We did our homework on all these scheme fit linebackers that are available. We need a right outside linebacker. We got Trindon Boyd. We got him 90% scouted. 6'2", combine. It's not brutal. Pretty solid, honestly. 4.63. You'd like to see a little bit more speed than that, to be honest with you. But you can't go wrong with these two guys. I think one of these two are going to be the call. We have Josh Derby from Bama. Pretty good combine. Decent stats. B's, B, C. The A-zone coverage is usually, like, that's my tell that, like, this guy's going to be very good. Ezekiel Hawkins, almost as good. A little bit less on the 3-cone and the 20-yard shuttle, but almost 4.4 speed. 4.49 at his pro day. It's the A-zone coverage, though. That is the number one thing that I am looking for. We need guys that can cover. We need linebackers that can get forced turnovers. So Ezekiel Hawkins is going to be our pick. Hidden dev, 90 speed, 88 acceleration. And he should be, like, you know, mid-70s, around there for your base overall. All right, draft recap time. I saved myself the embarrassment. I actually hyped up my second-round pick. I was like, this guy's going to be a freak. Oh, yeah, 74 is not bad. He's going to be a D tackle. But I was like, man, this guy's can't miss. And he ends up being normal dev. But I'll take that base rating. Ezekiel Hawkins, 75. Hidden dev linebacker. Skeeve it as well. We're most likely going to kick him to outside linebacker. But 90 speed, 88 acceleration. With our boost up to an 89 tackle, 86 hit power, 80 pursuit. The 70 zone coverage is great, 85 agility. There's nothing really too bad about him. Looks like as good of a linebacker that we've been able to draft. A couple 70s here as well. But Hawkins likely is going to be the only guy that can see the field in this rebuild. Year 4 for the Raiders. Taking a look at our offense. The computer actually simmed out and got us a hidden dev tackle. He's not going to see the field, though. This is and has got to be one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Still got X Factor Waller. Still got X Factor Adams. Jacobs, Carr, superstar. Renfro doing the damn thing. No weaknesses. Defensively, you saw it. If you know, you know. The linebacking core. Let's just see. We know. We've drafted 2 superstar X Factors and a superstar, and we've yet to even sniff the fucking playoffs. I don't know. I don't know. This has to be the year. This team has no real weakness. This team offensively has been doing everything we can ask them to do. Like, again, it comes back to, like, you know, if you told me C4 went, you know, 3-4 years with a very good Raiders team, didn't make this playoffs, didn't win a Super Bowl, I'm like, he's stuck with Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not been the problem. It's been like, I don't know. Year 4's the charm, maybe. Yes! I just drafted Sim to midseason 5-2 finally. That's all I need to see. Finally. Jinxed it. I just jinxed it. We're going to finish the year fucking 5-12 or something. All right, we might as well we got the breakout here. Josh Jacobs, let's see if he can hit it. He's unlikely, but we'll roll it in. Hopefully to our 6th victory, and we'll talk about our final contract extension period. Which could be a little, I mean, hopefully Derek Carr's up there so we can get rid of that goddamn $40 million cap hit. Josh Jacobs, in a loss, did not hit his X Factor. Not shocking. But let's take a look at players ready to negotiate. AJ Cole at punt. I mean, we got $68 million, which is more than enough to play around here. We'll give Colt Miller first extension. He wants to be here. Why not? It's the Raiders. We got to value our special teams, right? I feel like it's not a Raiders team unless you have, like, 2 of the best special teamers in the NFL, which they currently do. Rocky Sin's interested in coming back. I actually think in this case, we'll let him hit the open market and just see if we can get a little bit better of a corner. And then worst, I mean, he is ready to resign. Better. This is a tough one here. I think we just stick with Carr. Man, so many people love Derek Carr. That's reasonable money, and we still have enough salary cap to make one big splash move if we need to. 5-2, we finished 9-8, man. Fuck this team. What? What are we doing? It's our defense again. Like, what? I'm trying to think. Who is, like, pound for pound the best defense? Like, let's try this. Fuck me, man. I don't know. Usually I get a lot of luck with the it's Cleveland. Cleveland's 4-3. Let's try the Brown. I mean, Myles Garrett always goes off, I guess. It's not even a scheme fit for us. I guess we'll stick there. I'm almost speechless. We're like, no matter what we try, this team just sucks ass. Derek Carr was second in yards. 33 touchdowns for it. That's solid. Solid. Phenomenal. Solid. Okay. Solid. Defensively, tackles are there. Hawkins, another X factor on the defense, and we're still bottom of the league. I mean, the sacks have never been great in this. It just kind of is what it is, but sacks is not the sole reason why we are this bad. Oh man, this is brutal. Like, this is arguably like the best drafting rebuild we've had so far. I feel like doesn't matter. Like at this point, I'm getting ready to just be like, do we just go Dallas? Cowboys here, we know the Cowboys. You know, I'm doing it. Fuck it. At this point, if Dallas can just copy paste their way into the playoffs every single year, and schematically, they're not going to be too different than what we're rocking with, right? What do we have here? I mean, we could just straight. I don't want to really cheese it from the standpoint of, let's go Bucks or Chiefs. Dallas is not in the same upper echelon. It's upper echelon, multiple power run. Like, what do we look here? Vertical zone run. Is that like something that fits what we're building here? Not bad. Most of the offense outside of the O-line. Let's go Cowboys. Because this is just unacceptable, honestly. Take a look at our team as it relates to regression. I'm sure we're going to get smoked with regression this year because we're going into the final year, Super Bowl or bust. And absolutely not. Everyone on the offense keeps their dev trait. Defensively, Daly's up to superstar. Morik lost his superstar. We're still playing at a high level. So we're going to go into this final pick. Like, if we can get one more corner, this team is going to have zero weakness. Easy. Need a corner. That's it. That's all we need. One corner. Welcome to Vegas, Sauce Gardner. 86 superstar. Can this super team make the playoffs 1 year out of 5? We'll find out. Our final draft was just straight up BPA, almost filling out the depth chart, if you will. Got a hidden dev safety, 6'3", 220. Hidden dev run support. Hey, guess why? I drafted the 90 speed guy that's built like Obi Melifonwu, pretty much. Got a 70 normal dev strong safety, 74 normal dev wide receiver in the 5th round. But I mean, none of these guys are just special teamers at this rate. Hey, it's year 5. It's always just like, if this doesn't work out, we can officially say the Raiders are cursed. Don't be sleeping on Derek Carr. Again, we know he's not the problem. He's playing well. He's playing a lot better than a 75 overall quarterback. Jacobs, Davante, Darren Waller, Renfro still here. The O-line is as good as it gets defensively. Couple moving pieces here or there. Jalen Phillips needs to step up as our pass rusher. But our linebacking core, X Factor, superstar, all drafted. Safeties look good. Corners look good. The addition of Sauce Gardner along with Haynes. Like, I'm looking at this team and like I'm honestly thinking minimum 11, 12 wins. The fact that 9-8 has been the best season we've hit. Well, it's year 5, Super Bowl or bust time. See what happens, man. Maybe it will surprise us. Also, maybe we'll finish with 6 wins. 5-1. We were 5-2 at this point last season. Missed the playoffs. You know what? We're going to start the rant. We'll go right now to the playoffs. I'm in offline franchise mode. Maybe that's a good way to start the rant, because heaven forbid I do online franchise mode where it sims quicker. On the sake of a 5-year rebuild, probably saves me half hour, 45 minutes out of the 3 hours it takes to record a rebuild. But we're still waiting for a massive October title update for franchise mode to see if we could save and save face. Because the Panthers franchise, love it, absolutely love when I can sit down. Like I have a schedule. I got a whiteboard. I write up every single day of the week and what uploads are going on the main channel, going on the second channel. Plug the second channel right now. Go subscribe. And anytime I have Panthers wrote down, I know it's going to be a fun day of work. The fact that there's anxiety about if that franchise will crash or not because of this fucking bug, draft franchise reset bug. I'll say this, man. I've been, it's been a minute since I've made a video where I just call out EA. If this October title update does nothing to resolve the issues that are going on with franchise mode, and I'll tell you right now, from what I can tell, from whatever inside information I may or may not be privy to, I'm cautiously optimistic that it will be a part of the October update, but it's not a for sure thing. And if not, there's going to be quite the rant video. But no rant right this second. Let's enjoy the fact, well, we didn't win the division, but 12-5, and we're in the playoffs. We have an opportunity, the first of many. Yeah, right, this is a final year. We've had many seasons to make the playoffs and have a chance. Look at Derek Carr. We now we went to the Dallas Cowboy offense and defense. And I mean, the yards are about the same, but 44 touchdowns for our 75 overall quarterback. Yeah. I mean, Josh Jacobs crushed it. Zeke Elliott-like performance. Davante Adams, geez, a CeeDee Lamb-type performance out of him, if you will. The rest of the guys did okay. Ran for a little bit of a down year. Defensively, a lot of tackles. 10 sacks, Matt Crosby. 4 picks for our X-Factor. Hey, I mean, the Dallas defense didn't really pop off, and offense was never an issue. It's just fitting that, we make the Cowboy change, and whatever you want to try to convince yourself, however you want to talk about it. Just be like, we fired McDaniels and we brought in Kellen Moore to be our coach. That seems like actually something the Raiders would do. Derek Carr coming to number 5 in the MVP race. Davante Adams is the Offensive Player of the Year, and we will absolutely take that. He's also Wide Receiver of the Year. Just a Daniel Carlson, Kicker of the Year. And with our Dallas Cowboys playbook, is this going to be one of those rebuilds? We're at nothing, 0 signs of progress. We put it all together year 5, and we go on a Super Bowl run. First round of the playoffs against the Baltimore Ravens. Your Dallas Raiders, 30-16, getting into the playoffs. Derek Carr, 2 touchdowns, no picks. We had a decent game out of Josh Jacobs. KJ Hamler, forgotten man, $161, 2 touchdowns. A Mac Hollins-like performance. And we're on to the next round. Now, I'm pretty sure I saw the Chiefs on the other side of the bracket still in it. They're the 1 seed, so that could not be fun. But hopefully we can make it to the championship game. We'll hop in the championship game because, haven't had a lot of success. But if we can even make it, and we do, and it's the Bengals defeat the Chiefs 45-21. We defeat the Ravens 35-21. Derek Carr, just clean performances. Not bad for a 75 overall. Honestly, Renfro, Adams, both close to 100 yards. Titus Sheffield, our superstar D tackle, a sack and a half. Hayes, our X Factor, 2 picks in 2 playoff games. He is absolutely balling. It sets up a matchup in the AFC Championship game against the Cincinnati Bengals. And why not? Let's get front row seats for this one in case it's our final stop. Let's go, baby. I believe in this team. I believe that we can get this one done. I believe we have the offense. I believe we have the defense to shut down Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. We get the first touchdown of the game, but that also kicked, the Bengals in the ass. They get a touchdown. We get a second touchdown. They get a second touchdown. They get a turnover and a touchdown. We need to do the same. 21-21. Can we get a lead to go in half? No, it is all tied up. We get a great drive the second half, go up 28-21. I think another touchdown here, which we get, should be enough. A 2-touchdown lead going into the fourth quarter would be painful with the defense that we have to blow that one. How do we not get any points on that drive is beyond me. And there is the classic, we're going to overtime. But luckily, the better team prevailed. We could kick. Oh, we didn't even need to kick the field goal. 5 touchdowns. Derek Carr, over 100 yards rushing. Josh Jacobs. Let me actually get the score summary there. We only needed a field goal in overtime, and we said, psych, KJ Hamler, touchdown, 41-35. The Raiders, year 5, after literally the worst rebuild in terms of success, the quality of team that I think we've had so far in Madden 23, we have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. Super Bowl has been set. It is the 12-5 Raiders going up against the 12-5 Commanders. And if you do remember, you got a great memory on you. The Commanders drafted a quarterback year one. He won MVP year one as a rookie. I knew about him because I was like, are we going to get Derek Carr? He's an X Factor 99 all-star. Kyle Mann looks, pretty goddamn prolific. We got to figure out a way to stop that. But push comes to shove, I think, with our Dallas Cowboy-infused Raider team, 76 overall Derek Carr is going to retire with a Super Bowl victory. And we'll play the moments this one, but this one will be, if we got to step in, if things get a little ridiculous, we will. But opening drive, Raiders score a touchdown first. Washington is able to go down the field and equalize 7-7. 14-7 for the Raiders. Bold for Washington not to go with Sam Howell. Remember, we went Sam Howell when we did our Commanders rebuild. Things were okay. Things were fun. Things were vibing. We go into halftime up 21-14. Defense needs to stop. They get the stop. It is third down in the third quarter. Defense for the Commanders get a stop. Kind of trading 3 and outs there. Commanders able to get a equalizer. 21-21. It is 3rd and 3. This is a great opportunity to come in. Let's go screen pass to Josh Jacobs. Hopefully it doesn't get blown. I mean, we're in scoring range. Could debatably be in 4th down territory. But we're able to get the screen pass off. It gets blocked up. And Josh Jacobs not only gets the first down, but stays in bounds. Gets the clock rolling. 4 minutes to go. Why do we have read? I guess Dallas does have some read option here. But let's get this touchdown. You already know. I'm going to close my eyes. And we're going to throw it to Davante Adams. Back corner of the end zone. Back corner of the end zone. Or just straight up Moss, whoever 21 is. Not an athlete. Not good. It's Davante Adams. He will catch pretty much anything. You put it in his stratosphere, he will bring it down. The Commanders able to go right down the field to get a go-ahead. We have a 1:34 drive. We get the touchdown. Let's go. They're going for it on 4th down, 4th and 13. I mean, they themselves earned the go-ahead. I will come in and see if we can seal the deal for them. We got Hawkins, our X-Factor linebacker. They're going to throw it up on Sauce Gardner. Gets the interception. And the Raiders, when it couldn't have looked any more bleaker that this rebuild would go down as a successful rebuild, we get it. Year 5, Super Bowl or bust. And that wasn't like C4 hopped on the sticks and forced the Raiders to go out and win. We got 1 touchdown. We sealed it with an interception, but generally speaking, I feel like we would have came out regardless. I just wanted to get a little taste of this Raiders squad. And a rebuild that I thought probably about 25 minutes ago was going to be an utter embarrassment and show and prove that we have our first truly cursed franchise in Madden 23. And the Raiders just needed a sauce, a little special sauce on the back end of the defense to put it all together and to get a Super Bowl victory. I'll tell you right now, the Atlanta Falcons feel like they might be the next team that we rebuild. But if you guys want to see something different, let your voices be heard in the comment section below. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Very close to 160,000 subscribers on the channel. It'd be dope if we could hit that sooner than later. Hit that like button. We'd love to get 1,000 likes. So that's the goal on every single one of our Madden 23 uploads. So if you did enjoy the video, hit that subscribe button. It helps out the YouTube robots, which in turn help out my channel. But that will do it for me here. Do we want to go look at the final stats? This feels like a great time just to get out of it, when all is said and done. We're going to go out on top right now. No need the stats. We won it. You saw the stats as we went through it. It was very good, and it didn't make sense why we were losing. But in the end, we get the victory. So that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you back to the next one. Till then, it's C4 saying peace out. Love you. Have a good one.